Check one, check one, check two. I hear a friendly voice at the other end of the line. At the line. How are you, mate?
Thank you very much. How are you? You finished your book?
Yeah,
Got a new book?
yeah. The book is out. Principles for Leadership is out. I'm on the promo march now. Getting it out to as many people as possible, and setting up some podcast interviews, and getting some feedback from people as well. And I've discovered some cool stuff. If I can talk about it for 30 seconds, is that okay? Can I?
Go for it.
Okay, super cool. That when I put out books before, I put them out in print version, and once it's printed and it's out, it's like, well, that's that, and you can't really change it. But with the internet and modern technology, the book is up and it's online for people to download, and I can go into it and edit it and improve it and change it and update it without any problem at all. And I think that's so cool. I think it's,
I like that idea.
Yeah, it's so nice to have a first version and put it up, and then be able to go into it at any point and make notes or add things in, or if people have suggestions, I can include their suggestions in it. And I'm thinking, wow, it's almost like a living book. Yeah, where it's you've sort of got a finished version, but you can still improve on it. And what happens when you finish the book is that you're always like, damn, I forgot about this, or I missed that, or I never thought this way. Yeah. And so there's this opportunity to not miss out on these ideas, and to keep building it, to keep building the material, and to keep growing with it. So I'm looking at printing it next year, but spending the next 6 months getting feedback from people and improving it. And I think that's a nicer way of doing it. Anyway, it's out. People can find it. There's a link on my podcast for people to download the book. It's about business ideas, but it relates a lot to self-improvement and families as well, because all of those things interest me. Dun dun dun. Anyway, on to other things. Have you got some stories from the news that some things have been...
Yes, I got some interesting things. I found them on the internet this time.
Excellent.
This is the internet version of the Daily Star.
Oh my God! Are you serious? Is that still printed? Do they still print that? Oh my God! Oh my God! I remember. I think I'm going back like 25 years. I remember 25 years ago being on the bus going to a school football match, and that would be the paper that we would have on the bus, because it had the most insane stories in it.
That's why I picked it. You'll like this one.
Okay.
It's cockroach milk revealed as the latest bizarre food fad.
Oh, wait a minute. What kind of milk?
Cockroach milk.
Cockroach milk. I saw an article about that the other day as well. That do you know how the weird things are being normalized? Like, first of all, aren't cockroaches really tiny? How the hell do you get milk from them? Right.
Very small milkman.
Very small milkman. In very small bottles, right? That's crazy. But then the world is a crazy place. Like, they have frog farms where where people make huge fortunes exporting frogs' legs around the world. So I mean, cockroach milk. I mean, maybe it's one of those delicacies for rich people, right? You know how rich people like the fish eggs and I don't know, monkey testicles, and I don't know, whatever weird stuff they like to eat. So maybe it's for them. Hey, try this new. I don't know. It's do we need that? Is that going to change and improve the quality of our lives? Probably not. How are you even going to know if it's good quality or not? I mean, how are you even going to know if it is what it says it is? I mean, God knows. There was an article a couple of years ago from Russian newspaper Pravda that the Russian scientists had found a way to synthesize. Turn off the notifications in your phone. My God, they're coming through. So the Russian scientists had found a way to. I don't know what the process is. I guess they synthesize blood into milk. So they could take blood from an animal, and they could turn it in a laboratory into milk and sell it as milk. So I mean that's pretty weird. I mean you can go and check that out. True story, honestly, true story. Cockroaches. Well, everything bad is good for something.
And they found Atlantis, apparently.
They found Atlantis. Was it in the back of a Ford Escort somewhere? No.
Off the coast of Alaska. Just go there.
Nobody can prove any of this stuff. I mean, who the hell can prove them wrong? It's like saying, yes, Hitler had a special base under the ice. Oh, well, yeah, okay, but, how does that solve the fact that, my kid got a D in his exams in school, blah, 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 right? So, nobody can check any of this stuff, and they keep finding it as well. They keep finding all of these places at the bottom of the ocean, all of these cities that we don't know how it got there, and civilization's only 5,000 years old, even though it's not. But never mind. So God knows. What was it? Do you know the researcher Graham Hancock? Are you familiar with his work? Graham Hancock, Fingerprints of the Gods. Really, really, really. Sort of factual geological research about ancient sites, and he was one of the people involved in the discoveries of cities under the ocean off the coast of Japan, and they are there for a fact. They are there, and nobody knows who lived there, or or anything else, basically. So all we know is that we don't know, right? All we know is that there's a lot of stuff going on that we just don't know about, and we forget stuff as well. So God knows what we created in history, and then we forgot. The Bosnian pyramids, right? Yeah, it's like oh, look at these hills, they look like pyramids. Oh, wait a minute, they're not hills, they actually are pyramids.
This is a lovely classic one here. I like this one.
Okay.
Florida City sends mass text alerts warning of zombie activity during power cut.
Which place?
Florida.
Well, that'll just be a normal day in Florida, I imagine. I mean, what do you expect if you've got like TV programs like Zombie Apocalypse Nightmare, or I don't know, whatever they're called, right? And the people are just going to end up as zombies, or get trapped into the drug culture and waste their life away. So and that's that's the madness of giving government control of your phone, right? I mean, never let government control anything, because they've got absolutely no idea what they're doing. They're far too big, they're far too insane, they're far too out of control, and far too interested in the money rather than the progress. Don't let never get involved in a conversation with a giant gorilla, because you're not going to win, basically. So
you can fly the newest invisible plane that the government have said to be bringing out. It's not really invisible, but it's invisible to radar.
It's not really.
It would be funny though, some pilot riding in the air and you couldn't see the plane. All you could see is this boat going, "Oh, how are you?"
It's like we're going to have invisible cars, or you never fucking find the thing, right? I mean, you're just gonna lose it, aren't you? Where do we park it? I don't know. I can't remember. Is it this one? I don't know. Try feeling it.
I can't find it.
Yeah, I mean, the government incompetence, what was it, like a couple of years ago, the American government misplaced a couple of nuclear missiles, right? I mean, how the hell you do that is beyond me, right? I mean, they fall off the back of a lorry somewhere, did they, God knows. So, giving the government invisible planes is like, giving a very large lollipop to a very fat kid, right? I mean, the end result is just going to be sticky. It's going to be very sticky, and the people. What the hell do we need? What the hell do we need invisible planes for anyway? I mean, am I missing something? I mean, is there some great need in human society for invisible planes?
The other side have got visible tanks.
Oh, great! Then we can have an invisible war where we can't see anything.
What was that?
Look, here comes the army. Where? Well, they're not. Well, they're invisible, you know. And there's that weird biblical story connected with that. Just reminded me of that, you know, story about it's a story in the Bible where the guy is is waiting for help from God, and then suddenly, as if by magic, all these angels appear everywhere, and he sees the help from God, and it's just like an invisible army. So I think it seems like government is just trying to play God and is, as usual, failing miserably. Moving on, what's next?
We have a video that's going around on YouTube of a mutant creature that looks like a cross between a pig and a dolphin. Like,
some kind of hybrid thing, right? Something that's escaped from some testing place somewhere where I don't know. That's not the problem, right? The problem is things like genetically modified food, like genetically modified salmon, right? Because the point is there'll be no original real salmon fish left because everything's going to be this genetically modified hybrid, which is a problem because nobody knows what the hell's going to happen.
What's salmon, Daddy?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
You open the tin up, and when you open it, it really stinks. But when it's really nice. Oh, that sounds really great.
Oh yeah. Well, it's, the value system in the modern world, right? Kids think that food comes from tins rather than from farms. So there's a slightly, in some places, disconnected from reality. I lived in London for 5 years, and I worked with kids in those inner city areas, and they knew about bling and fashion and what kind of cars were cool, but they had no idea there were different kinds of meat. Right? It was just like meat. Right? They had no idea there were different.
In a packet.
Oh yeah. It's the insanity of the world that we live in. Yeah, let's straighten all the bananas, right? Oh no, you can't sell this cucumber because it's too curved. Madness.
I've got some diet news for you.
Diet, okay.
Diet news. 5 reasons why you're farting too much and what makes them smell so bad.
Well, because you're eating the wrong stuff, basically. But here's something which nobody wants to admit, but it's totally true. The older you get, the more you fart. Okay?
Very true.
That's just the way that it goes. That's just the way that life goes. You want to be kind of cool and trendy and fashionable and all looking good and feeling good. But as you get older, your body kind of deteriorates, and you got to learn to live with those problems. Each year that you live, everything gets a little bit more complicated. Everything gets a little bit more difficult. Each year prepares you for the next year. It's step by step process.
Wake up when you think, what was that pain? I don't remember that pain.
Pain. Oh, once you get over 40, like pain is the norm, right?
Yeah, people say, "Oh, you're not really old. 50 isn't old." And I think, well, bloody old. I feel bloody old.
50? Yeah, I don't know. Old is, you get to 50 and you probably don't feel that, or maybe you do. I don't know. It's like that old saying, "You're as old as you feel." There are people who are 30 who feel like they're 60, and people who are 60 who feel like they're 30. But I think one thing's for sure, you got to look after yourself, right? Nobody else is going to do it. You have to look after yourself as you get older. You've got to eat right. You got to drink right. You got to exercise. You got to exercise not just your body but your mind, and you have to work on it. And you have to do that because
mind's got a little secret gym inside of it, going working out. Yes, I've done that crossword. Oh.
The brain gym, maybe so.
We could start one.
Yeah,
thanks for listening. We're going to start a brain gym.
Brain gym. I guarantee you, if you Google that, somebody's already there. It's a nice idea, but I'm pretty sure that if you type in brain gym, there's probably already an application designed to boost your mental power, even though it really doesn't.
Brain Gym International official site. Welcome to the.
Yeah.
You've gone out and invented it.
Well.
Gyms for kids. They are.
Well, it's like they have. One second, I got to move inside because I got to check the kids are okay because I'm all alone today, and so I'm doing a little walk through the flat right now.
You start panicking and go, "Oh my God, where are they? What are they doing?"
Wait a minute, I've lost one of them. Wait, no, is Will outside? Is he gone? Okay. Oh, sorry. Well, my son's gone rollerblading.
That was a heart-stopping moment then, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, he's sort of done it, but he's gone out by himself. He's 8 years old now, so I've decided to let him go out and do what he wants. So what? You have to start somewhere. Why not? And the other two, one of them is trying to climb into the fridge, and the other one refuses to get off the potty. So that's family.
I'm not. I want to do a poo, and I'm bloody going to do it.
Well, it's not that. She's finished, and she refuses to let me wipe her bum. But I've tried every form of exercise.
No, I want to wipe your bum. No, God, the smell.
That's it. Yes. That's exactly the situation that I have, and I'm trying. One second. I'm sorry. What's up, Jazz? The other kids? You mean your brother and your sister? Your sister's in the bedroom and your brother's rollerblading, darling. And if you let me wipe your bum, then we can do something together. I'm not talking to you, Mark, by the way. Okay.
No. I was looking forward to that.
Right. Give me one more story. We got time to do one more story very quickly.
Come on then. What are we going to do?
I don't know. What's just pick one from the paper. Pick one from the internet. Or I'm trying to think if I've heard anything ridiculous recently, but everything is ridiculous from my perspective.
Oh yeah, like Donald Trump is ridiculous, and
they're all ridiculous. They're all it's all.
Korean bloke with nice words saying he's obviously going to turn up. Yeah, really.
Oh, they're all mad. It's all some kind of weird boys club, and they're all sort of.
Oh, W.H. Smith has been voted the worst shop on the high street.
Which shop?
W.H. Smith.
W.H. Smith. That's the newsagent, yeah. That's the newsagent. The newsagent has been voted the worst shop. Well, why? I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. It seems to me that Britain has become. Wait a minute. Did you hear that the British government jailed a journalist for reporting? Can you believe that? 13 months. Tommy Robinson got 13 months in prison for reporting. Can you believe?
What was he reporting on?
Himself. He was reporting. That's the funny thing. He was doing a live Facebook stream of court cases related to Muslims raping young girls in Britain, and the Muslims were guilty of it, and he was following the case, and he did a live Facebook stream, and the government just picked him up and put him in prison for 13 months. I mean,
here we have there's a lesson, children. If you're listening in, don't upset the government.
No, don't upset the big boys. I mean, because it's a dangerous game. But I mean, it's ridiculous. 13 months in prison for doing your job. I mean, and it's one man, and the government is like in partnership with the media. So there's like every newspaper, every television channel, every whatever in the country will work together with the government to promote whatever it wants. And because they can't control one man, they have to put him in prison. Yeah. I mean, the absolute insanity of the world against the man. You know, it's like, do you have to do what we tell you to do? If you do anything else other than what we tell you to do, then...
Political police, we've come round to talk to you. Because you can't say that. That's not allowed.
And you know, what's crazy is that it's pure 1984, and there's nothing about it in the mainstream media. Absolutely nothing at all. And it should be, because it's a reporter. Why are the reporters not supporting the reporters, for God's sake, right? Because if you can do it to them, you can do it to them all, right? You know, it's like Jesus said, whatever you do to the least of them, you do it to me, right? You know, it's insane. It's completely insane. So I don't follow that stuff too much, but I saw that this week, and I'm just like, have you got nothing better to do? Nothing better to do than jail people who are reporting the truth? I mean, please, for God's sake, and don't vote. It just encourages them. Right? It's insanity. It's absolute insanity. Welcome to the world we live in. Virtual insanity and invisible tanks. There we go.
We're all living in it.
We're right in the middle of it. And people are like, I'm bored. How the fuck can you be bored in a world like this? I don't understand.
Bring back the aliens. I'll go, please. I'll go with you.
How anyone can be bored is beyond me. There we go. I'm standing on the balcony now, watching my son scoot up and down the road on his new rollerblades, and I must say I'm impressed, because he's doing far better than I would be doing. So
he'll be on the floor now going, yes, oh yes, Daddy meant to. I've just shown you what to do in case you fall.
I don't know. It gets to that point where the kids surpass the parents, and the parents are just kind of useless, except for food and money, I suppose.
They go, yeah, this is what you do. You go, what did you just do? Oh, it's simple, but you know.
It's the world we live in. Hey mate, thanks for the chat about the news. Much appreciated. I look forward to you. I look forward to you bringing some more stories to me at some point soon.
Wonderful, weird, wacky world stories out there.
Yeah.
There's always something.
There's always something going on in but we do live in a beautiful world at the same time. I want to make that point, right? You know, the power of the beauty of a lot of the things are quite incredible. You know, having kids, watching them grow up, the changing seasons, the giant thunderstorm that's about to strike here right now above my head,
Please don't strike me now.
Oh, you know, if I get struck down, so be it. Hopefully, I won't. There we go.
The electricity from thunder and lightning.
Right, I'm off to challenge myself at my persuasive abilities and getting my daughter off the potty and wiping her bum, using words and not physical activities. I'm going to persuade her. I'm going to be all peaceful parenting, and I'm going to sit down with her, and I'm going to persuade her to get off the potty. And I still don't know how I'm going to do it, but I am going to do it. I'm convinced of it. Oh, and there goes my son.
folks, you'll find out if this really happened.
There goes my son, arse over tit. Right, I hope he's okay. No, anyway. Right, have a great one, mate, and I'll speak to you within the next week, yeah? We'll get together again.
Okay, yeah, bye.
Okay.
You enjoy your day. Bye.
Take care, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.